What's up, Dumbmarks? Welcome to episode 203 of the Dumbmarks podcast. Der Bulle aus Wien, which was Gunther's old nickname before he was the Ring General, which basically means the bull from Vienna. So figured since we're doing Bash in Berlin today, change it up a little bit.
It's way too complicated of a show title. Like, if you got to go on a 30-second explanation of the show title, it's way too complicated.
How we doing today, gentlemen?
Good.
Good.
Mm-hmm. Officially week one of college football. So
Donald's ready. He's not even here to podcast today. He's just doing a watch along.
Yep. What eyes on the TV watching game day right now. So
Yep. Games last night. Thursday night kicked off last night. A full slate today. I don't know what's more jam-packed, the college football schedule this first weekend from Thursday to Monday, or the 3 weeks of wrestling that we've had between WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan. I mean, it is nonstop, every single day, show after show, pay-per-view after pay-per-view. So we got, 2 pay-per-views to break down today and predictions on show?
We got 2. There's 6 pay-per-views total this weekend from Thursday. Thursday was MLW. Last night was New Japan and TNA. Today, WWE and NWA tonight. And then tomorrow, NXT. So we'll cover Bash in Berlin and NXT No Mercy today for some predictions.
Yeah. Yes, and JBL has been on the we can get into that if we want, because I don't necessarily like the Taker knockoff look he's going with right now currently. You can't come out in a black trench coat with a black cowboy hat and not give off Taker vibes. And
I get the Taker. I keep thinking like Matt Cardona came out like that in the Indies, and then Jeff Jarrett was doing that in Mexico. The same.
Yeah, I think he's
the Last Outlaw.
I think he's trying to pull off Trish Stratus.
Well, I mean, what makes no sense is he came out at the end of Emergence last night and said something to Nick Nemeth, and Nemeth just shook his head, and then he exited the ring. But in AAA last weekend, he cost Nick Nemeth the AAA title and turned on Nemeth after the show. Yeah. So I get cross promotions and working in different promotions, but I mean, you got to keep some type of character semblance.
I got something else to tie into that too later on. So,
yeah.
But yeah, last night that made no sense whenever he came out to me either. I thought the same thing.
Hey, there was. I mean, listen, the X Division match and the Iron Man match last night made that card.
That's all I really at the end interested going in and afterwards. Those are the only 2 matches I really cared about.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we got a lot, and then AEW All Out's next weekend. So another prediction show with more pay-per-views. Jason, your homework's done. Or wait, that's Donald. That's Donald.
Next week. Yep.
Yeah. So, a lot to get into. So,
a lot of predictions.
How you want to run the ship, Chris?
Just kind of wanted to start things off. Earlier in the week, the master and the ruler over the world passed away. Psycho Sid Vicious, whatever he was to you whenever you watched wrestling, many different character incarnations, but just kind of wanted to get your takes on the passing of Psycho Sid.
Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, like you said. The man worked 6 months out of the year because he played softball the other 6 months. Did fist bumps to the ring, never took a bump, power bombed somebody on their neck, and then walked back and left the arena. Like, you talk about a pro wrestler that's a pro wrestler. That's it right there, brother.
Until he jumped off the top rope for the first time and game over.
Yeah.
I mean, no, Sid was the first true big man that I remember like looking at in awe. Like, holy shit. Like, when he was in WCW, like that fucking traps on his back were like it looked like shoulder pads. Like, he was, aura, charisma, could just stand there and draw a reaction without having to say a single word. He was over more than Hogan at one point in the middle of true Hulkamania.
Like they thought that he really was going to be the one to go over in that match, and that was the end of Hulkamania.
I mean, he didn't, like I said, he he took his 6-month sabbatical every year to play softball. So that's why you seen him duck in and out and switch between companies as much as he did. Never really had like a full-time run because of that. But if you go into something, if you go into something with something to wrestle with, Bruce Pritchard and Conrad way back in the archives, they did a whole show on Sid back in the day. It's a really good listen if you can dig that up in their archives. But yeah, and Sid was he was one of one. There hasn't been another one like him since. I don't even think there's been a few imitators like that have even had a comparison to say, oh, that's Sid. Like he was one of one.
Yeah, he was definitely like one of the first like real big men who intimidated me back when I was like younger. And his power bomb compared to other people's power bombs, quote unquote, his name was vicious. It looked like that actually did hurt. But yeah, I truly liked him. I really, really did. And he was the first person to kick out of the leg drop. Even though there was,
he also had one of the funniest moments in pro wrestling history.
Yes,
like everybody circles back around to the Booker T promo with where he drops the N-bomb live. Sid, I forget what pay-per-view it was, but starts his promo
in your house, but
stops it and goes, "Can we run that back and start over?" And they're like, "No, we're live."
We're live.
We can't. One of the greatest moments in pro wrestling history.
Like, because that was like a different time. So much that stuff was pre-taped back in the day. So like around like the Attitude Era, everything went live, and he just wasn't prepared for that.
I mean, Sean always had. I mean, his matches with Sid and with Diesel, like Sean just knew how to make big men look great.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Sean didn't make everybody look great, because he definitely made everybody look great, but that classic style of small man, tall man, they had that formula down pat.
Look at Taker and Sean.
Right.
I was a fan back in the day. Not one that I'm putting in like top 10 or anything, but I was a big fan of Sid whenever, from ECW days, WWE days, and WCW days.
I mean, you're top 10, no, but he's definitely in there for top 10 big men of all time.
I think so.
Breaking it down into categories, like he definitely fits in that. Where he ends up, I don't know. I'd have to sit down and actually go through and kind of categorize it out, but
and it's definitely going to be subjective with everybody on where he falls on the list. But good wrestler, way too early. It was only 63. So
63.
That's a shame.
Yeah, he was the definition of a superstar, not a pro wrestler.
Yes. He definitely had the look and the attitude. But like we said before, we got a lot to get into today. So pretty soon, Bash in Berlin is going to be getting started. So I figure let's get those predictions out of the way. Then we'll get into our weekend review stuff and cover NXT later. So we'll kick things off. Got 5 matches for the Bash in Berlin card this week. We'll kick things off with the Women's Tag Team Championship. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
I don't expect a title change here, but I wouldn't be shocked. Something got to kick up as far as, either we're going to put the titles back on Bianca and Jade and let them have a long run with them, or we're going to start to turn the page with Bianca and Jade. We got to do something here.
Yeah.
You can't keep throwing them out there and having them lose consistently. They're just too dominant of a tag team when you look at them, and it's the luster will come off from them, and maybe that's what causes the rift is the losses. But I don't know if Alba and Isla are going to drop it here. on European soil, so to speak. I'll go with the champs to retain just because.
Jason?
Give me Bianca and Jade. I don't see them going through a series of losses to start this breakup. I think it's going to be one big one and then culminates into a dissension. Like the story hasn't been. I think it put the title on and have bigger ramifications after they lose it. Don't give us something rushed.
I don't know why they dropped them in the first place, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
That was like what, in a triple threat match, so it's like they didn't technically drop the belts, but
They didn't walk out with the title, so
Yeah.
they dropped the belt. I go with Bianca and Jade winning the titles back. You have to put some type of shock and energy into these women's tag titles, because it seems like nothing is happening between her. Yeah, they had some matches like these past couple of weeks, but still, it's like that title that is in the back that nobody cares about.
one hasn't it been? Yeah, just it never gets that position. I'm surprised this match isn't on the pre-show. Sometimes that's where it's been. I'm going with the champs retaining on here. I think we're gonna get a story to see something between Bianca and Jade starting here.
Clear black-white divide on this prediction.
Up next, we got the match I really don't care about, the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre.
I don't know if this is the blow off or not, because the rumor was them two had bad blood in Hell in a Cell. So if this truly carries over into Hell in a Cell, which I don't know how much juice there's left to squeeze out of this feud.
There's nothing left.
I'm really going to be checked out. Give me. Oh, great! I don't even know at this point. Give me Drew.
It just I don't know what it would take to end this feud. Like it just seems like the feud could be over, but somebody's going to keep coming back. I lost. I want revenge. I lost. I want revenge. They can run this until whenever. I hate strap matches, but I'm gonna go with Punk.
I'm gonna go with Drew, just so he can end the feud and just be over with. And I think CM Punk is in the business of just putting people over now. I mean, he can't do anything for me. His time's over.
His time's up.
Don't forget, he's still got to get the bracelet back.
Make one at Five Below.
I mean, I don't think that the original plans were for these two to be in Hell in a Cell, but I think that's where it's going to go. So I think Drew's going to get the win here, and Punk gets the win at Hell in a Cell. Drew wins the battles, but Punk's going to win the war. So, Drew here. Mixed tag match, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan.
I got the heels all day long. I don't see the baby faces getting their comeuppance here. I think it's better for the story to have the continuation of Dom and Liv doing some type of chicanery to get out of it and walk out with a win. And, eventually we got to circle back around to Rhea and Liv for the title. Priest and Finn is more the bigger feud than Priest and Dom. So give me the heels with, some bullshit from Judgment Day going over, getting the win.
Who gets the pin?
Dom on Priest. Finn cost Priest.
Give me Terror Twins and
I'm not. I refuse to call them that. I refuse to call them the Terror Twins. Nothing about them is terrifying, and nothing about them makes them twins. They're 14 years of age. Nothing. Maybe tattoos. That may be the only linkage. But other than that, I'm not calling them the Terror Twins.
That's a terrible name.
Dom takes the pin.
I'm going with Dom and Liv. Establish them more as heels.
Can't go against Dom, huh?
No. No. Establishing Moore's Hills.
Top 3,
Yeah.
not 2, 3.
Mm-hmm. He's about to
See
be
the
top 2.
Steve Martini's clip.
Imagine that celebration. I keep going back and forth on this too. Mostly because I'm not sure how they're going to. I'm thinking Liv and Rhea are going to be at Bad Blood. I think that's going to be what comes out of this match. I'd rather see Priest and Rhea win this match, but I think I'm going to have to give it to Dirty Dom and Liv.
Look at you coming over.
Just because it's not the end of the story. So what's the point of giving them the win for it? Just to give them a win. All right. Up next, one of the 2 main events. Undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens.
So this isn't the main event? You put Orton and Gunther as the main event?
I mean, it's
Gunther, Austria, Germany.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job last night of telling a quick story that gives motivation for investment into this match, besides just Cody handing championship title matches to anybody he damn well pleases and feels like. So, whether he truly does have an injured knee, I don't know, but I love the psychology Cody used last night and bringing stuff up to Owens. Like, I left and did it on my own. I ran with your boys. Doesn't that hurt your feelings? I took away your main event spot at WrestleMania with Stone Cold by returning. Doesn't that hurt your feelings? Like, I love that, to get Owens to maybe bring out some of that viciousness that KO
fight Owens fight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So good job with selling me on that. Owens isn't going to win this match. I think we're going to be off and running to Cody versus Orton after this.
You're hoping. 3 months I'm hoping.
Every pay-per-view that these 2 are on, I'm just going to continue to run that shit back. So you got to tell it, whether or not you string it out, for Survivor Series, or Rock got to come back at some point. I don't know, but give me Cody, and we'll see what Owens does after this. He hasn't re-signed a deal, and his contract's up sooner rather than later. So we'll see what happens there.
I'm going Cody. Everything you said, and I agree with Steve. Cody for the win.
Cody for the win. You can't put a story together in 3 weeks and try to make it believable that he's going to win. I'm sorry, you can't pull.
Hey, they did as best as they could last night to get me to buy in and have some doubt there.
Can't pull the wool over my eyes, Cody.
Yeah.
If it ain't a Samoan, Cody's winning.
I don't know. Maybe Kevin Owens does that ancestry DNA, and he's 1/10 Samoan. You never know.
And Cody owns the Samoans. The Bloodline Rules match is his. He's running the Samoan dynasty over there.
Yeah, I'm going Cody. There's no story here that says that Kevin Owens is winning. So Cody to retain. So that'll put us into the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther versus Randy Orton.
Gunther.
Whatever Randy Orton was mumbling about on Monday, that almost made my jabroni. I legit turned my TV. I muted it until he went off, because he was just rambling on about nothing. It was
why he needs the title.
But
I thought he cut a better promo yesterday at the kickoff.
He was struggling out there, and that's rare for Randy.
You got 10 minutes. Go talk about something.
Should have gave him 3.
It's hard to pull that off on a go home when the other person's not actually there.
Yeah.
Maybe that promo sounds a little different with Gunther in the ring, and you're getting crowd reaction, you're getting Gunther's facials, you're getting body language, all of that, and Randy can adjust on the fly. But just him in the ring going out there and cutting a Hamlet soliloquy did nothing for this match.
Yeah, Gunther's winning this. Just won the title at the beginning of the month.
I'm cool with the match. You know, they set it up with a good story as a rematch from King of the Ring. Cool. I'm a Randy Orton fan. You know, I hate to go against him, but Randy too much right now is. I'm happy to be there, Randy Orton. And Steve, I'm on your side now. I need the Viper back, and I need this to be his hunger for getting another championship.
Well, Orton just re-signed a 5-year deal through 2029, which will put him 29 years with the company, 27 on the active roster.
Jeez.
Not a bad career.
No.
So, and he said it on Cody's show. I forget whatever the hell Cody's calling it, the American Wheatley sponsored show that Cody does.
What do you want to talk about? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. But Orton said, like, look, I'm a lifer. I'm not going anywhere. Like, this is me until I can't go anymore, and I'll know when I can't go, and then I'll call it a day. But right now, I have no plans on going anywhere. I'm not thinking about retirement. Like, he's in the best shape of his career. Like, so enjoy this time as it runs off. You know, we're getting the farewell tour for Cena. I'm sure Orton's gonna hopefully have the same ability to call his farewell as much as Cena has, because you know when you look at the list of most pay-per-view matches, most pay-per-view wins, longest tenure, the whole 9 yards, Randy Orton's name is at the top of the WWE list, if not second or third, and going to surpass whoever is above him by the time his run is done. So,
and we talked about it before this month. 20 years since he became the youngest World Heavyweight champion in WWE history. So he is a first ballot Hall of Famer when that time comes.
Definitely.
Oh, I just want to let you guys know Edge said the same thing. So
That's gonna be his final match. Greatest match on earth.
It's way different.
said the same thing. I'm a lifer. WWE lifer. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think Edge and see this is when you got to factor in Hunter, because I don't think Edge and Hunter necessarily had the same relationship.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
So,
and you got to take into the Christian factor too. Had he not gone to AEW, if he would have stayed retired, I don't know if we would have seen Edge leave.
and also Edge said before he came back, like whenever him and Christian had their podcast, like there's certain things that he wanted to do because he knows he has a limited amount of time. So he talked about what they wanted him to do in WWE, come in, be a special attraction, certain dates, this and that. And creatively, for the individual that he is, he didn't feel that suited him best. He wanted to be there full time, day in, day out, involved in stories, building character, you know, working with younger talent, etc., etc.
The original Judgment Day.
If you're not going to get that, then
put on the
you
shelf.
got to go. So.
All right. So that's everything for Bash in Berlin.
And if you want to get a good crowd tonight, the pop for Ludwig last night was unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
That's a pop that doesn't necessarily automatically elevate him, but that's a pop where the people in the back lift their eyebrows and go, okay. Not necessarily like a baby face or heel, but just hey, this guy definitely has something. He gets a reaction whenever he's in the States and everything else, but
yeah,
you know that I think Ludwig's a diamond in the rough. Honestly, I've always felt that as far as him and Imperium. So
last year at around this time, they started like doing like vignettes for him, just solo. Like he was still part of Imperium at that time, but they were just doing vignettes on him, and I thought I was like, I think we're actually going to get something out of him. Like at that time, I thought maybe he was going to be the one to defeat Gunther for the title, but you know, it just he stayed. And like I get it, they're best friends and everything, so they're kind of just staying together at the moment. But I would love to see them do something more with him.
They've been sprinkling men ever since Vinci left. He's been a little solo time vignettes.
But yeah, I got Gunther and Orton as my match of the night.
Same.
Same.
Yeah,
Again, this is a card on paper that's like, man. We'll see. I don't
Sometimes
know.
they deliver.
Mm-hmm.
So
The ones you least expect.
yep. All right. So that's everything for Bash in Berlin. Before we get into NXT No Mercy, let's kind of recap the week. So who wants to kick things off?
Well, you tell us. Are we starting with Mushes or are we starting with Mount Rushmores?
What do you think you got? You want to kick it off? What do you think?
You're running the show. Tell us. I'm following your lead today.
Let's kick off Mush. You kick us off with your Mush of the week.
Britt and Mercedes.
That was mine too.
Cool.
That's not what I was expecting from you, though.
Complete letdown.
It could be a laundry list this week.
Yeah, I mean, there was Britt. I just and I have it as my mush because of I talked about it when we did the prediction show last week. The amount of fantasy booking love hype that I had for them two to actually get in the ring and do something together. The story didn't feel right. The stuff leading up to it didn't pop and hit the way that it was supposed to. The match was clunky. It looked like sometimes Britt was sandbagging. There was no chemistry. And if Britt's off for as long as she's been off, I don't necessarily know that you just automatically throw her back in there and be with one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back from everything that she came back from.
Yeah.
You gotta let her build up time and reps and everything else. And AEW doesn't tour. They don't have house shows. They don't get reps. They don't I don't care how much you're practicing somewhere. It's not live in-game action. So,
and you got to take into account she has another completely different career outside of wrestling, so she probably doesn't get as much practice time as she should.
Yeah,
other people might.
I was so let down by that, and I saw a lot of feedback on the timeline with people saying the same thing, or voicing their dissatisfaction with that match. And for me, it was just a huge letdown. But that's something that I overhyped in my own head, and it didn't live up to my expectations for what I thought those two could deliver.
I really felt that whatever they were doing, whatever practice-wise they did before this match, had to show the weaknesses of it, because you can't go and practice and it be good and see that bad of a match. I just felt like that and the Tony Storm match should have switched places, because I feel like the Tony and Mariah match would have kept the card elevated throughout the night and would have been more on pace for that main event spot than what that match ended up being.
And even the spot where they put it in, again, that booking, why would you throw that there in that particular spot on the card?
Yeah, the crowd was out of it.
Just doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They were fighting an uphill battle before they even walked out, based on where they were slotted. So why put two of your best women wrestlers in a spot that is going to make them have to work even harder to overcome, because you don't know how to lay out the card properly?
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Jason, your mush of the week.
My honorable mention goes to production and ring attire. Cage and Sammy, how do you not walk this through? How do you both come out and set Wolverine gear? And FTR in the pink and black when it claims in the match. That shouldn't happen. And stop with the Bret Hart tributes. It's washed.
Well, you don't think that was necessarily a dig at the Acclaim?
No,
and not a Bret Hart tribute?
No, that was just
I didn't think it was a dig.
Yeah. If I came out with shoulder tassels every week, you'd be like, you know what? Give it up. It's a wrap.
This is your hate for Bret Hart seeping in over there.
Yeah. But my main mush goes to that gauntlet match they had on AEW. what was it, the 20-man casino gauntlet match? That was the dumbest booked match I ever seen in my life. You wasted Ricochet. It was a good match.
Because
it was a good match, but the logic was completely stupid. There's how many men outside the ring, and you had and there was only 3 men in the ring max at one time. So you mean everybody's outside selling moves when this company doesn't sell moves? Nobody can come in and disrupt the pin.
I like
waiting around.
I like the concept of the match. Because the match can just end out at any time. The match can end. We don't even have to get through all 21 of these people. Like that can be their signature type match, a la the Royal Rumble in WWE, right? Like, but you know, I thought it was decent. Not that it was like overly blowing. I don't necessarily feel that they wasted Ricochet. If you're gonna have him debut, like you got to look at how you're gonna have him debut, right? Like if he would have debuted and won, then it would have been, oh, you just give a WWE guy a title shot right away, bring him in, and da-da-da-da. We've seen AEW in those types of matches just automatically book the surprise who's coming in for the first time win. We've seen it with Brian Cage, we've seen it before, like so. I don't necessarily hate the spot for Ricochet, but I don't know how else you debut him unless you just have him come out on the ramp and stare down Ospreay. But you're not going to do that after Ospreay wins the title in Wembley. So, like, how else are you going to debut him?
Find something better.
That was my 1P. Was the amount of returns and surprises and debuts that AEW just completely shot all over that pay-per-view.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
save some intrigue. Bring back some other people at some other times. Why are you just unloading your entire clip?
Jamie Hayter on a pre-show.
Yeah, I forgot. Yes, that. No. That was
Jamie, I was okay within the position because
not in a pre-show, not for a former women's champion, not for a number 1 talent. No, hell no, you don't put her back in a pre-show to feud with Saraya, who hasn't done anything. Are you kidding me?
But what we talked about with Britt, she's been off for how long? If this is a match just to kind of get her ring rust off, like if you're not putting her, you weren't going to put her right back in the title picture. So I don't have a problem with the gimmick or where they put her to kick off.
I would have rather her run down in the Britt and Mercedes match. You're gonna have her return at Wembley.
It would have made more sense because of her affiliation with Britt. She could have returned and been the one to take out Camille.
Yeah. Christian Cage winning was tremendous, by the way.
I done it. Didn't I say you were gonna say it? We all sitting on that end, and I told you Chris was going, or Steve was going to.
Tremendous. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can't wait till he comes out and goes to Brian. Your father's dead too, isn't he?
The concept and the finish, terrible.
Yeah.
The match itself wasn't. The matches in the match wasn't bad.
Yeah, I agree. The finish felt flat to me. I think it'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see if they give Christian a run now with the belt or not. Now he has the opportunity. So
why not? Everybody else did.
Donald, what's yours for the week?
Let's stay on this AEW thing. Yeah.
Taquan, you gotta let other people shine once in a while, Taquan. So
the segment with MJF and Dan Garcia running too long. I mean, it was annoying as hell for what they were doing, and especially on MJF's part, it's like rinse, wash, repeat with him. Come out after a big match. Oh, my neck hurts. Let's run down the crowd. Let's go at it against Ospreay. Like, I'm gonna see you. Let's dig into the next opponent. Then you have a pull out brawl, like a brawl happening. Everybody trying to pull out moves, fight security. It's the same thing with MJF constantly. Same thing. You've seen it back with Will Ospreay. Go back to Samoa Joe. You go back to CM Punk. It's just trending himself as doing the same shit over and over and over and over again. And it's boring now. It's boring. It's
using the same formula.
Yes, it is so boring now. Mm-hmm. So him being the dickhead and the asshole in the beginning of AEW was new to me. I was intrigued with it, but what is it? 4 or 5 years later now, it's old. So what do you do with dickheads and assholes? You ignore them.
Look at you all mature.
That's why I fast forward through the Chris Jericho segment.
Show me something new. Do something new.
I like the fire from Garcia.
I do like that because
Get away from the dancing.
Yeah,
I don't need the hip thrusts no more. Like, so
get to what we kind of thought he was going to be. What, a year or so ago? Whenever like they were kind of teasing him being in like the BCC, getting away from the sports entertainment and focusing on the wrestling. So. Feel like we're actually kind of getting there. Steve, I really thought yours was going to be Pac this week.
What, with them just throwing him in and
win
putting
the title
on him?
Yeah,
putting a title on him because they were originally supposed to win with the Death Triangle, but Penta and Phoenix are on the sidelines because they're allegedly going to WWE. No, I said last week on that. I said last week on the show, they put the belts on them three. Swear to God, and they did, and I just, whatever. I didn't want to.
What's the future of the BCC now? Like, are those three going to be the BCC? Are they going to be something different?
Listen,
Moxley ain't here anymore.
the way that they opened the show on Wednesday night made no sense.
Yeah.
Coming out of that,
I think Tony Khan listened to me because I said during All In, I was like, "This is so nice, Mox not being on a pay-per-view." And then what's he do? Kick off Mox on Dynamite.
But like, I don't even, if Moxley wants to come out in his New Japan theme, dressed like Kim Possible and cut riddles, okay, cool. It's a different character. All right, awesome. But why you come out and say that you showed up to talk to a guy that wasn't even there on the show because he was in a coffin match makes no sense at all.
It did say you shouldn't talk because this is your company.
Yeah.
Well, no, Tony Schiavone doesn't own the company.
Yeah, that made no sense at all.
Yeah, we know who owns the company.
Yeah. So like now he's building his new stable. It looks like.
Yeah.
Whether the BCC gets put into it at some point will to be determined. But
and if he's the one to retire Danielson, oh man, don't tune into this podcast because these three guys. Oh man.
Brother.
That'll be the last edition of this podcast for me.
Especially that guy Bucky. If John Moxley ends the career of Bryan Danielson, oh man.
Watching wrestling.
Over.
We need a new producer.
Yes, you will. You'll have to find somebody because I ain't doing this shit anymore. That'll be the last straw for me for wrestling.
No, but back to your thinking that I was just automatically going to put. I was so upset, and I was like, I'm just going to completely push that out of my mind and not even think about it. And you want to give that energy because there's no point. I'd just be saying words and arguing into the wind. No point. It's stupid booking.
So mine this week, and I said before, was the same as you, was Mercedes and Britt. My 1B for the week, kind of what you were talking about with JBL earlier, was Matt Cardona comes back to wrestle last week at GCW Homecoming. And currently he's in a feud with Steph DeLander and PCO in TNA. But who is by his side and comes out with him at Homecoming but Steph DeLander? It's just like, shouldn't we be, making sure like everything makes sense here?
In Donald's world, GCW is not on TV this week, so it doesn't matter.
You got it. It's not canon.
And Cardona didn't show up last night. He said somebody else in his place.
because he wasn't cleared. He wrestled last week, so he's cleared in one company, but not cleared in the other.
Well, he's the general manager of GCW. He doesn't need cleared. He can just enter into a match whenever he wants.
So, yeah, it wasn't like completely terrible, but just like, shouldn't we be like at least paying attention to like whatever we're doing if we're going to be working with different companies? And I felt the same way with JBL last night. Like, why is he coming out, after not aligning with Nick last week? Just made no sense. All right, so there was the negativity. Steve, what do you got for the positivity?
I got 1A, 1B, and maybe it's 1A and 1A minus. First, Nigel McGuinness. Congratulations, coming back 11 years after retiring? 13 years after retiring. It was a complete surprise. Nobody knew. He talked about being able to get back in the ring and wrestle, and he's been doing it for, about a year and a half. And he said last year, like, Wembley, even though he didn't wrestle, he felt like he had his moment being out there, being able to announce the attendance and, and that he was okay with where he was at ring-wise and not being able to have that particular moment. But to be able to come back and be a true surprise and in his home country, getting that ovation, like, kudos. I do need him and Danielson one more time. I have to have it. Like,
I said the guys last week, that's where I thought things were going, because I thought with how much shit he talks on Danielson week in, week out, like, how that's not going to be Danielson's last match.
But he also said on the interview with Chris Van Vliet that he doesn't want to take anybody's spot just to take a spot. Like, the gauntlet was perfect because there's justification as to why he's in it. Just like we get surprises at the Rumble, like, it made sense. So that was it. But my 1A, my 1A plus, he was my 1A minus. Swerve. Even though he lost the title, arguably match of the year. Performance tremendous, title run tremendous, re-signs and re-ups a large extension that people hated on this week because allegedly Tony Khan quote unquote overpaid and gave him a deal upwards of what Okada's making allegedly. And then Wednesday night coming out and damn near making Hangman Page quit wrestling. I just walked out of the ring promo wise.
Yeah, that was my Mount Rushmore. Was the promo on Wednesday?
As far as promo,
amazing.
Yeah, like he is literally hitting on all cylinders, and he's just in a zone right now that when certain people get there, like, you just have to watch because it's special. It's can't miss. Hell, even Nana coming out pissed off at Hangman, but still doing the dance, even though he was pissed off. Just the whole.
It's the coffee. It's his coffee that he drinks when he comes out. That gives him that energy.
Yeah. So yeah, Swerve.
It still feels like he's cosplaying Street.
It's still what?
Feels like he's cosplaying Street. Doesn't come all authentic to me. Like, he gets me in the ring.
Swerve?
Yeah, he gets me in the ring. All the other stuff. This feels like he's cosplaying Street.
So you're calling him a wankster.
You said it.
No, you defined it.
I mean, hey, if we can sit here and say Carmelo Hayes ain't him, Swerve ain't him either.
Swerve is way above Melo.
Nah,
Melo's not even sniffing Swerve.
I see it. I see it in both. Nah, can't help me.
Yeah, but I wasn't expecting Swerve and Hangman to, get right into it already. I did not see that part coming. Yeah, but hey, after Wednesday's promo, I'm all for it.
This might be one of the first times I think that after someone drops the belt, they're actually put into a program. Like, usually, like, they drop the belt and, like, they don't do shit. So
Well, it's a blowout feud match. It's, but I don't think it. Like I saw people upset because it doesn't have the title attached to it.
It don't need a title.
it didn't need it.
Yeah, it doesn't need it. It's a blood feud. I mean, Hangman was putting it out their best. Like, hey, you beat me with Nada, then you beat me with Nada and Cage, and then time ran out.
Taquan, I don't need you agreeing with Jason. We're not having this today. I can tell you.
I can't even see the comments, and thank you.
I'm already upset that me and Chris agreed, and we both got on white shirts today with arguably the same color blues. Like, I'm already upset about that. But the fact that you and Jason are together on a take, I don't need that in my life.
Something ain't right in the world today.
Yeah, I don't know.
Another vortex or something.
Yeah, the full moon. Mercury's in retrograde. I don't know what the hell's going on, but we gotta shut it down ASAP.
What multiverse are we in right now?
Yeah. We're on planet 42, not 616.
No, we're on the right one where Tony Stark is doomed. So.
Mine to kind of go along. We'll just keep it going.
Look, Jason got Taquan's phrases and left. Said my life's complete.
I'm good.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I got Taquan to agree with me. I'm done. Logging off.
Mine for the week was Bryan and Swerve, and the match and both of them. They both deserve. It wasn't just Bryan win the title. It was Swerve having a much better run than I think people were going to give him credit for. I think a lot of people just felt that he was going to be, I don't want to say a transitional champion, but I feel like that was kind of the talk.
That was me. I was me.
And so it's like, I'm definitely glad he had the run he had. And the run was to the point of, I want more of him as champion.
Yeah.
From him dropping this belt now. So hopefully Bryan does his thing, Swerve does his thing, and that leads Swerve back to getting another run at the title.
I'm shocked that you didn't put Bryan Danielson as your Mount Rushmore because of how much of a Danielson mark you are.
That's what I said. It was the two of them. I'm combining the two of them together.
He finally wins the big one in a moment where you pick him to win the big one, and you're bigging up Swerve instead of.
You interrupted me, and you didn't give me a chance to talk about it.
No.
Wanted to give it to Swerve first before I talked about Bryan. So
now,
now, Bryan Danielson win the title. I was all here for it. It wasn't, again, last week I said I thought Swerve was going to win the belt. I wasn't necessarily sure that Bryan was going to win it, but that's my boy. So had no problem him closing the show before going to All In, him winning the belt at All In, and I don't know if I'm necessarily looking forward to the feud that we're getting with him and Jack Perry right now, but
Jack Perry gonna win that title just so he can throw it up and CM Punk's face. Glass, bitch.
No, he's not. He's not gonna win.
He's not gonna win it.
Look, Danielson. This isn't going to be a long run from Danielson. He's going to pick who he wants to face. As much as the reveal as Perry fell flat, they at least had some justification for it. By saying Jack, Danielson was on the committee that when it didn't want Jack Perry back in AEW, and made him a scapegoat. So, look, as long as this does not culminate with Darby Allin becoming AEW World Champion, I'm okay with it because that rumor circulated all week this week.
It did.
To me, Darby is not a heavyweight champion.
No,
he's not.
No, he's TNT champion.
That's just
he's like Wesley, North American champion.
You're gonna make him bigger than life than what he is by defeating. Because who does he really have that's on like the same level? And that's would really just be Jack. Everyone else is much larger. That you're gonna have to sit there and do that David and Goliath comparison constantly, and just him overcoming all the big men that he wrestles. And that's gonna get
fighting logic
real fast.
Better not be the decision, Taquan.
Jason, what was your Mount Rushmore for the week?
Speaking of the GOAT, scapegoat, and Darby Allin, I'm going with Jack Perry
For the week?
Yes.
Wow.
But finishing off Darby Allin.
Dude,
in
hate
his
Swerve.
cabinet.
And Jack Perry on Mount Rushmore? Are we serious right now?
Yes.
What
You
kind
want
of
to
day
talk
is
about
it? What kind of day is it?
you called Swerve a wankster. Jack Perry is by no means this tough scapegoat, broody, moody, tooty character guy that's throwing up the Raven pose any chance he gets. There was better acting on Beverly Hills 90210 than what Jack Perry's done in pro wrestling as a scapegoat.
But he's giving entertainment.
Listen, when Russell Crowe says, "Are you not entertained?" No, I'm not entertained.
Is it really Jack Perry, or is it just the fact that he beat Darby Allin that you're giving it to him?
Both. More the fact that he beat Darby Allin, but both. I'm enjoying Jack Perry. He's a pillar to me. He's gonna be a pillar.
This dude comes in with just, hey, forget biases. I'm just putting all my biases on the table and just hating and picking. like no professionalism at all in this podcast. Jason's like, nah, I'm just definitely picking based on my own feelings.
This really surprised me for the week because there wasn't one WWE reference really here
No?
for Mount Rushmore or Jabardi. So
I mean, y'all just sat there and shat on Darby Allin.
He's
For
not
rumors of
heavyweight
becoming the champ,
material.
world champ. I can't give it to Jack Perry for beating him.
No,
you can give it to him for beating him.
Mm-hmm. Just like they said on Scarface, the world is yours. You can pick whoever you want to pick.
All right, before we get into No Mercy predictions, anything else from the week? No good? All right, let's get in here. Probably the match that I think Jason's looking most forward to, and maybe Donald. Wesley versus Zachary Wentz. Steve, kick us off.
I froze up before you said anything else before we jump into this. The Iron Man match last night between Alexander and Nick Nemeth was really good. The story they told in it, pinfalls, drama, like it was one of the better Iron Man matches I've seen recently. So if you haven't,
it was a good match. There was one flaw in it to me, that they were really focusing on that exposed turnbuckle for the match, and then it didn't do anything. Like that was played out early in the match and kind of talked about throughout. Just like, if you're making that a big thing, that should be one of the influence makers in the match. That was the only issue I really had with that.
but yeah, we can go into NXT now.
Wesley and Zachary Wentz. So you kick it off.
This is where the interpromotional stuff comes in, and it's like, whose sword is bigger, for lack of a better term, as far as which wrestler is going to go over. Wentz just wrestled last night and won the X Division championship. If you have him come out and lose tomorrow night, what does that say about your TNA X Division champion, right? But West is the heel, so maybe some bullshit will happen, and that's why he loses. I'll go with West with like a low blow or a foreign object, something stupid to defeat Wentz, and maybe they run it back at Bound for Glory for TNA.
Wes. Yeah, I just think that since it's NXT, event, Wes, if they run it back on TNA, Zachary.
All right, that's Steve. What you brought up with the X Division Championship, that's what I was kind of wondering last night whenever it happened. Like, how, like, you're going into a WWE match or an NXT match now. Like, how is this going to play off other than just bringing the belt on TV for exposure?
And I thought Wentz had the better of the two in the promo on Tuesday night.
I don't know if this feud's going to continue or if we're going to get like a triple threat to really end it.
Like he made West out to be a fraud Tuesday night in that promo. Like, you were going to retire until we came out. You said I was never there for you, but who was there the entire time you were out with your back? Who took care of you? I did.
Where do you think this feud should end? Do you think it should end on NXT, or do you think it should end in TNA?
I'd say TNA as a full circle because they started in TNA.
I'm thinking it makes more sense to finish it up at Bound for Glory. If you're going to give it on a big stage, do it then. NXT doesn't have any specific big events until then, so. Jason, who you got?
Can y'all see me?
Yeah.
Nope.
I am frozen.
Nope.
I can see you.
You're fine with me.
You're like
you too.
like John Cena. I can't see you.
I'm frozen. This is like the FTW championship. I'm not picking.
How much you care, huh?
Trash.
I'm gonna give it to Wes, but if we continue this story, I wouldn't be surprised if Zach wins the match. NXT Tag Team Championship: Chase U versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom.
Why are we running this back and putting this on the pay-per-view? They haven't done nothing. They haven't done anything since the belts changed hands.
Yep.
Rematch. That's all we're doing here.
I guess I'll go with Chase U.
As much as I love Frazier and Axiom together, I'm gonna go with Chase U. Those two need to go through a feud or something. Give them something different.
Yep. Chase U.
Jason, I agree. That's exactly what I was thinking. I like Frazier and Axiom together too, but it just feels like they've teased it long enough that we don't go a different direction. So Chase U to retain.
You didn't have nothing else to put on the paper or on the special on the pay-per-view besides this. Like, you've literally done nothing with either one of these teams since the titles were dropped, and just to throw it on as a rematch, I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
Even though it was my favorite match on the last show they had.
And then you got a month after this for another event, so you'll probably see some rematches on that too. NXT North American Championship: Oba versus Tony D'Angelo. Don, I think I know who you're picking on this one.
Yep.
Steve, go ahead.
I liked what they did Tuesday night. Is Tony the right guy to take Oba out? I don't know. But Oba is reaching that point of there's no return with him. Like, if he wins this match, there's literally nobody left. You might as well take the belt off, leave it in the ring, and go up to Monday or Friday night. Because there's literally nothing else for you to do in NXT. I don't even need you to have an NXT heavyweight title run. So, I'll go with Oba just because I pick against him in every freaking pay-per-view they have and he wins. So I'll go Oba. Maybe he'll lose this time.
Get Tony D off my screen. Don't put nothing else on that man. No belt, no cup, no nothing. Oba.
Jason, I'm right with you. Tony doing nothing. He's just eating up minutes on the screen.
Yeah.
Deserving for somebody else. Mainly the women's division.
That's a gimmick. That's too gimmicky. I'm over it.
They're not doing anything with it.
I feel Oba's just going to retain. I don't feel like his run's over yet. So we'll see who the one is that can actually stop him, but I don't think it's Tony D'Angelo.
I mean, Sammy beat Gunther. Just send him down there.
That would be like an ultimate,
David and Goliath. We just.
What was the other flippy dude's name that won the North American title off Johnny Gargano? That was a big shock and awe and surprise.
Leon Ruff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what that would be the equivalent of. I don't know if I'm going to give Javon Evans the Leon Ruff booking.
I think Javon will at least be around longer than Leo Ruff. All right, up next, NXT Women's North American Championship: Kaylani Jordan versus Wendy Chu.
I like the new version of Wendy Chu that she has. It's different. It's something that's outside the box from women's character perspective in NXT. It's perfect against the true baby faces, Kalani. I like her sending Rosemary out there on Tuesday night to have crossover and that. So I don't necessarily think you have Wendy or Kalani drop the title now because she's still new in the run, but you got to do something here to make sure that Wendy stays strong and continues to develop. I don't know if a clean win is something that I would go with here. I'd like to see this maybe continue on and then them do more with it than just a one-off between the two. So I'll go Kaylani retaining, but I want a dusty finish in this match.
I don't know where to go with this because I feel like the crowd's getting stale with Kaylani. I don't want her to lose, but I feel like she needs to grow in character from this. Let me go Kaylani.
We're going Wendy Chu. Give it to something different. Just like Jason said, Kalani, it seems like she's getting stale. She's getting too babyface with it. Something drastic needs to happen with her.
And maybe going up against Wendy brings that out in her because Wendy's so opposite of the spectrum, character-wise, that you can see more, piss and vinegar from Kaylani than just shaking hands, kissing babies.
Wendy's a veteran in NXT at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going back and forth on this because we got Halloween Havoc next month. So I kind of have a feeling Wendy and Rosemary are going to do something at Halloween Havoc. So I'm not sure if I necessarily see Wendy getting the title, but it would make sense. Or maybe we get, Steve, what you were talking about with the dusty finish, and maybe we get the rematch next month at Halloween Havoc for Wendy to pick up the win. I'm going to do a flip here, and I'm going to pick Wendy to go into Halloween Havoc with the belt. So we'll see how it goes. That'll put us into the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez versus Jada Parker.
You want to talk about the slap her around the world? That was almost my Mount Rushmore this week.
Man, I love that.
Kudos to Roxanne for taking it because Jada is the next. I want to say Jada is the next one up, but I feel like after this match, the individual that both of them saw and looked at was Julia. And she's going to show up after this match to issue a challenge to Roxanne. So I'll go Roxanne to retain. The money feud is her and Julia, but Jada, she's going to be somebody for sure, 100%.
Kudos to the production team whoever cut that scene up. Good props. I'm going with Roxanne. Jada she's in the future, but she's not there right now. I see her as a future champ, but not at this moment.
Yeah.
No, not when you got heavy hitters coming into the company.
True.
Yep.
And maybe it's Stephanie Vicure, not Julia. I know Julia's done. So and then you got Delta in the wings too. From it's just
a lot coming up.
Yeah.
Good on.
I'm with you guys. Same thing. Roxanne. Too many heavy hitters coming up.
Yep. Round the horn. Roxanne for the win.
Let's get back to that takeover where you get the big, indie wrestler
sitting in the crowd.
You know what I mean? Not even sitting in the crowd, but debuting. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Like Adam Cole running in and fucking taking off Drew's head. Like, holy shit, that's Adam Cole. Like, let's kind of circle back and sprinkle some of that dust in every once in a while, which I think will help elevate the NXT brand itself.
Do you think maybe we won't see that type of stuff tonight because they'll be saving that for the CW debut in a few weeks?
I'll tell you one thing they're not going to do is unload the entire clip on tonight's show, and they'll definitely save somebody for
And their big star gonna be on the pre-show.
and that's a see, you brought that up. I saw people online. NXT's a dying breed. Look at them; they can only sell 3,500 tickets for an arena that holds 18,000 for the debut show. Blah 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 blah. It's a developmental brand. They're outselling AEW. Ticket for ticket, they're outselling AEW.
I feel like that's the reason why we might not tonight might not have a whole lot, or tomorrow might not have a whole lot, because they're touring those first 2 weeks, and I think that they'll want to save some stuff like for you to tune in for those 2 weeks.
You're getting one of those two women tonight or tomorrow. You're either getting Julia or you're getting Stephanie. One of those two are going to come out. They teased it Tuesday. Jada, I love that Jada said, "I'll smack you too."
Yeah.
And then Roxanne kind of did the whole, heel champ thing, just the look and the shuffle back, like, oh shit, business is about to pick up. So one of them two women is showing up tomorrow night.
Main event, NXT Championship, Ethan Page versus Joe Hendry.
God, please put it on Joe Hendry. You want to talk about something that would never be imaginable in the world of pro wrestling. He's the most over individual in the company. I don't know if I like I mean, maybe there was a Joe Hendry face sign in the crowd on SmackDown last night in Germany on the Hart, like opposite the Hart Camp sign. So, Trick being added as the referee, I don't necessarily know that I love that or need that, because Trick's been involved with Pete Dunne. So why all of a sudden is Trick being thrown in as the special guest referee?
Because Trick needs something to do.
But my heart would just love to have Joe Hendry win this belt. Ethan's the type of character that he can recover from that loss and win it right back. Win it right back at Halloween Havoc. But I think Ethan will do some shit, and he can gloat about Trick having to count to 3 as he pinned Joe Hendry.
Give me Joe Hendry just for no other reason than it's Joe Hendry. Pull the trigger.
Like, if Joe Hendry wins the NXT title tomorrow night, that has to be moment of the year in pro wrestling.
It could be.
Yeah. I'm going Joe Hendry. Because how many times are you going to bring somebody from a different promotion onto your program? How many times? I mean, there's something there.
We all believe, because Chris has the shirt on, so I don't see him picking Ethan. Do we all believe right now?
Ain't no way.
No. As much as I believe in Joe Hendry, you just put the belt on Ethan. Like, how are you
don't believe enough?
It doesn't matter.
You don't believe enough.
Like, I think it would be I agree. It'll be a great moment. And if Joe Hendry wins tomorrow, I'm not upset over it. I'll be very happy that he wins the belt, because NXT's putting the belt on him more than TNA's even trying to put a belt on him. So, which makes no sense to me whatsoever right now in TNA.
But how about your NXT championship match is a former TNA wrestler who went to AEW, who went to NXT, dropping the belt to a current TNA wrestler
who used to be on NXT.
WWE.
Who's also on it. Like,
it's a crazy match. Yeah. Again, what multiverse are we in right now?
Exactly. You could not book that out even in the most fantasy lands of fantasy booking.
So we'll see tomorrow. Match of the night.
I'm gonna go, even though I shitted on it because they haven't done anything in a month. I'll go with Axiom and Frazier against Chase U for match of the night again. That was match of the night the last show they did. I think they'll run it back and do the same thing again.
I'm going Roxanne and Jada.
Axiom chase you, Frazier.
I'm changing my pick now. Give me Wesley and Zachary Wentz for match of the night. I'm not agreeing with Jason. I'm not agreeing with Jason. I told him I'm not doing it.
I'm hoping Ethan and Joe. I hope that's match of the night. So there you have it. Let us know what your predictions are. And hopefully NXT No Mercy is actually a must-watch event. That's what I'm hoping most. Because there hasn't been a whole lot of them, I don't feel, for NXT lately. I need Stevie.
The last one was
the last one was
it was good, but it wasn't.
You're out of your mind, dude.
The last one was good.
You're crazy.
The last one felt like Takeover.
Yeah, we got on the show and talked about it being the old school Takeover black and gold vibes. What are you talking about? It wasn't that good.
I need real Takeover vibes. That's what I need.
That was real Takeover vibes.
All right, we're gonna get into some trivia to kick things off to finalize the show today. Got 5 questions here, so I'm gonna give you the question and multiple choice to help you out this time. So everything in here is related to something that happened in Europe with WWE trivia. So we'll kick things off at SummerSlam '92. Papa Shango defeated Tito Santana. Originally, Papa Shango was to wrestle another opponent at SummerSlam. Who was it? Virgil, Kerry Von Erich, Crush, or The Undertaker?
Kerry Von Erich.
Crush.
Undertaker.
Steve was right. It was Kerry Von Erich. Kerry ended up getting released that month, and unfortunately, things happened to Kerry after that. The first European champion was crowned in Berlin, Germany. Who was the first champion? Owen Hart, Vader, Bulldog, or Bret Hart?
Bulldog.
I don't know why I thought Triple H was the first European champion. I'll go Bulldog.
It was Bulldog. Later that year, at One Night Only, who won the European Championship? Triple H, The Rock, Shawn Michaels, or D'Lo Brown?
Shawn Michaels.
Triple H.
Triple H.
Donald got it right. It was Shawn Michaels. And then, like a couple months later, Triple H.
DX Christmas.
Exactly. I think you guys will get this one.
Triple H.
Who won? Who won the Intercontinental Championship on Raw in Milan, Italy? Umaga, Santino Marella, Bobby Lashley, Jeff Hardy.
Santino Marella.
Santino.
The Milan Miracle, Santino Marella.
The most Canadian Italian ever.
Still living together.
Still.
And last, on the November 7th, 2017 edition of SmackDown, the WWE Championship changed hands for the first time in England and the first time outside of the U.S. Who won the title? AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, or Jinder Mahal?
AJ.
Daniel.
AJ.
It was AJ.
Beat Jinder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then went on to
fight Brock.
Whenever they were doing the Raw versus SmackDown stuff at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for trivia. You guys did good.
Yay.
Anything else before we wrap things up?
I tabled this from last week, and I know we're a little long on time right now, but maybe long form discussion needs to be had. But Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is absolutely on fire with the announcements D'Amour's putting out there.
I'm not trying to get overly excited yet. We still got a lot of time.
Like your first official match announcement is Takeshita versus Josh Alexander. That's your first official match.
The people that they're signing so far.
That in alone is going to get me to tune in, right? Taquan, I'm ordering it this weekend. Shit's on sale. Relax. That match in and of itself, has me ready to buy in. I already ran off some of the names previously with Kylie Ray, Jinder, Alexander, Takeshita. They announced Speedball Mike Bailey this week.
Their girl.
And Athena. Yep. And Mauro Ranallo is back in my life in the world of pro wrestling.
Jason's not watching because of that.
Bring back all the Mamma Mias, all the cultural references. I need Mauro to cut an entire Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling pay-per-view strictly talking about the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef. Give it to me all. Bring Mauro fully back into my life. 1,000%.
I think that's October 26th is the event. So the November 2nd of the Dumb Marks podcast, we know Jason's mush for the week.
Yeah. Now, does he have a set roster, or is it just bringing in people at the moment?
So it's a la All In style right now, where he's bringing in, people for the show. I don't know if he's going to have a like an actual set roster or what's going to come about it, but like the lineup they're rolling out there. The fact that you're highlighting Athena whenever AEW doesn't want to,
who's that?
It's good enough for me to tune in because she was my women's wrestler of the year last year, and still has the belt almost 2 years later.
You're forever champ.
Yeah, so if you're gonna line up Athena and Kylie Ray or Athena and Jordan Grace, okay, take my money. But Takeshita and Alexander by itself, I'm sold. I don't even need to know what else is on the card. Because again, they're highlighting Takeshita after AEW. He comes off a New Japan run, and what do? You put him on Rampage. Now, the four-way was good. Don't get me wrong. It was the only bright spot of Rampage last night was that four-way match.
I can't do Rampage anymore.
Why are you bringing him back and sticking him on Rampage?
Because Tony doesn't have plans for him, man. I know Takeshita's talk about it.
You bring the Grizzled Young Vets in. You don't have them do anything on Wednesday night but talk some shit to the Young Bucks, and then they face the Outrunners on Rampage.
Outrunners on Rampage every week.
That's all right. That's their
roster spot.
That's their program. That is their program.
No. What did I say last week? Rampage is nothing but dark.
I forgot all about the Grizzly Young Vets.
No.
Hey man, it could have been emotional. So
are we gonna save the McMahon doc to talk about it after it drops?
Yeah.
All right.
And that's I think I saw it's like a 6-parter. So there's going to be a lot of that to watch.
Y'all could tell me about it.
Now, this isn't the original one, was it?
This is the one that Netflix has been working on.
This isn't the story that they were originally going to run with, though.
Okay.
This is the rise and fall of the game. So
before it was just a rise.
just a biography, I think, before.
Literally the rise.
But WWE got no, they're not affiliated with it at all. There's no, before it was, they were going to have credits on it and everything else, but this is completely
like a dark side.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to watch, see how it turns out.
Y'all give me the cliff notes. Tell me how it is.
I mean, I know Vince, they said Vince is interviewed for it and people are interviewed in WWE. So it's footage of people talking, but we'll see how the story actually works out to be.
They got the black stripes over the eyes for confidentiality. just the eyes.
We'll see. One of the things that I saw this week was any of the women that were involved were not interviewed. So there's none of that type of stuff. They'll talk about it, but none of them have been interviewed for the documentary. So if that's true, we'll see in a few weeks. All right.
That's what they should have titled it.
He got rich. There's no doubt about that. Still is. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to episode 203 of the Dumb Marks podcast. Make sure you follow us on all social media at Dumb Marks Pod. Head over to Spotify, follow, listen, tell a friend, and this weekend, head over to Pro Wrestling Tees/DumbMarksPod and buy the merch using Labor Day 24 promo code. Get 20% off all of our merch. Steve has a shirt to buy. So to wrap things up here for the week, I don't know if you guys know, talking about documentaries, there's a Christopher Reeve documentary coming out that's going to start making the rounds in theaters this week. So quote from Christopher Reeve, "Once you choose hope, anything's possible." So until next week, for our 4-year anniversary, we'll see you next time.